But all right, we got a decent little crowd in. So I guess I'll get right to it. This is going to be the last stream of Trader Tuesday. It's been fun. It's been real. I fucking enjoyed it for sure. I know a lot of you have learned a lot. I've also learned a lot myself. And in doing so, it's just kind of time to move on from Trader Tuesday. That being said, starting next week, I think I'm going to call it Markets with Mode. So what we're going to do, we're still going to have Tuesday, same time, same place, same shit, but it's not Tuesday Trader anymore. We're going to have Markets with Mode. And one of the reasons we're doing this kind of update is because there are things I want to update, right? I do want to, this will give me a chance to start with clean charts and kind of a clean slate on a Trader Tuesday 101 session. And I'm going to add in Thursday mornings. I think I'm going to announce it 10 a.m. EST on Thursdays. That way I can get another time zone. And that way we got something kind of the beginning of the week and also at the end of the week. And instead of, maybe spending 3 hours every Tuesday, an hour or two each session. And we're gonna do a couple other things with it too. I'm gonna look at making like, what is my Thor pick of the week? What Thor call do I think is the one this week we should be watching the most? Things like that. I love doing this and I want to amp it up. You guys have told me how much value you guys are finding in it. My DMs are filled every fucking day with messages from you guys that are taking this info and using Thor and actually printing fucking money and showing me pictures of your own charts. So we're gonna amp it up a little bit.
Mode, I was about to be so pissed.
Did you just not only not rug us, but you're giving us more of your time?
Fucking amping it up, son. Amping it up. Let's go.
I thought this was about to be the biggest rug, yo.
Fuck. All hail Mode.
Dude, bro. Thor does so much more than we cover. And I kind of want to... Tuesdays are going to be very similar, right? Except what I want to do is I think I want to break it up into a little shorter. I want to focus on anybody that's new, right? From the very beginning. Anyone that's new, show them the very ropes. Then get into it kind of like we usually do. And then we can do it again on Thursday morning, and look at, what were the calls that we made Tuesday, and are they still valid? Should we be maybe looking at something else for the weekend? But yeah, it'll just give us a chance to look at Thor more. I think just stay more up to date on calls. And I'm hoping through doing this, it really helps all of us in increasing the value of frogs, right? The more that we as a community become knowledgeable, and we as a community start earning more, and we as a community can help benefit others and open the doors to, take away some of the smoke and mirrors of what is trading. I think this is only going to help increase the value of cyber frogs and pump up the bags that all of us are holding, right? So if we can be making our bags trading, but we're also pumping the bags of everything we're holding in the community that brought us together here, I think this is just a way to fucking try to do exactly that.
Frogs fuck.
So as we get started in this too, this is something I'm going to rely on you guys as well too. My IRL stuff is coming to kind of winds down. February is, so I'm finally getting more time. That's why I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing 2 days a week. But as I spend more time back on Twitter and everything else, I'm going to need you guys to help spread the word and everything else. Frogs has a fucking loud voice on Twitter. We're well respected. I think this is just going to be a good way to show people what the fuck they're missing out on, and we're holding the bags. So as more learn, they're going to be buying from us, right? So it's going to be a community effort in this. And I'm not sure exactly yet if I'm going to call it Markets with Mode or maybe something else. I'm still spinning a couple ideas. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. Because I don't want it to be about me, right? It's not like about me, but it does have a good ring to it. Just saying.
No, that work that helps out even more so. I had a buddy at work actually remind me if I could fill him in on how to like gain access to the Discord's Trader Tuesday, and so just knowing that you'll have the ability to spread your time out some more is appreciate it, of course.
For sure, man. And I'll tell you, I appreciate you, Young, being in here each and every week. You were one of the first ones to really jump in and start hitting me with a ton of questions, right? And when people question, it makes me think as well. And that's why I'm saying, I was 100% sincere when I said I've also learned a lot on these Tuesday Trader. Teaching you guys has also taught me. But yeah, I appreciate you being in here all the time and asking the questions. And, honestly, it really did help set some of the foundation of what these streams have become. And it's just dope to see the same people coming back each week as well as new faces coming in. And that's why, like I said, I think I'm going to start each Tuesday Trader with taking the first 10 to 15 minutes. If there's someone I don't recognize, I'm going to ask them if they got questions, or hey, is there anyone that's never used Thor before and has no idea what the fuck to do? Then I'm going to go right into Thor and show them this is how you do it, everything else before we ever even look at charts, right? Because the last thing I want to do is confuse people more than simplify trading. And I know looking at my charts looks like a fucking like a rat on acid got a hold of a crayon box or some shit. And it can be a little more confusing, but hey, the calls play out, man. So we're gonna keep working with it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, let's keep building.
And I didn't know how many people that held NFTs and held crypto bags didn't understand the fundamentals or the basics of trading. So I think, the first session of each month that you've been doing is extremely helpful for that. And I noticed in the last few weeks, you were kind of singling people out and just talking to them for 30 minutes of the 3 hours, just going over the basics with them. So, that's something people would pay a lot of money for, and you're here doing it every week for free. Now you're going to do it twice a week. Just a fucking legend, man.
I appreciate that, dude. And honestly, it's like hands-on learning like that. It gives the person confidence to go use it. And I've done large speaking sessions and demonstrations and things like that on other topics besides trading, in my IRL shit. And one thing that I've found is if someone has the question, there's many others that have the question that just didn't raise their hand to ask it. So I don't look at like someone asking an individual question of, oh man, okay, now I got to sit here and talk to this one person and teach them. No, I try to approach it as, okay, if they're asking this, that then people aren't quite understanding it. Let me break it down. I kind of look at it as one person asking a question for the group. But yeah, we just want to, dude. Thor can help. Thor can help take away the smoke and mirrors of trading. I know I have my own trading style, and we've made some awesome calls on the Tuesday Trader. We've made some fucking bangers with our own TA, right? And pairing it with Thor is not only entry points, but take profit points at those entries with our TA. I feel like my style and Thor pairs up well. So we just want to kind of expand it to where instead of, if you heard me here on Tuesday and maybe if you go read the write up, you can catch something, kind of have it, the weekend's up to you guys, but through the week, starting Monday leading up to it, we'll talk about what's going on. Tuesday we'll do the stream. Wednesday we'll have something kind of in between. Thursday we're gonna get things prepared for the weekend. Frogs fuck Friday, and fucking let Thor print some money and repeat, right? But yeah, I'm excited to do that too. I'm gonna try to make what I think is my Thor pick of the week. And things are going to evolve. Things are going to change, right? It's going to grow. It's going to be a little while before it really gets to what it's going to become. But Tuesday Trader really helped set the foundation for what it is, how I can convey the information and how people can digest it and not only understand it, but then go apply it and use it, because my DMs are full every week of people that are using it, that are taking calls and making picks, and some of the shit, like it's charts I've never looked at or mentioned, right? Like I've never gone over a Matic chart, I don't think. And I had something like Matic's my jam. I'm like, oh, no shit. There you go. Like if and you'll find that as you start to trade, like some things just so you'll find some coins that whatever the fake out moves they pull, they fucking dupe you. And there's just some coins that are hard to trade, and you'll find there are some coins that you can just fucking play like a fiddle, man.
I've noticed that shit, bro. Like, all right, I feel personally like Injective moves like Solana. Like that shit, like I I won't even attempt really to go at Injective, bro, because it's so horrendous. It's mean.
You'll find that too, that certain coins perform like others. You'll also find certain narratives, especially in a bull run, right? You'll find like all of a sudden layer ones are popping, or all of a sudden layer twos are popping, or all of a sudden the dexes like are going wild. You'll get like a bunch of or the Chinese tokens are on a run at that point. You'll definitely pick up things in the market, and like I said, some tokens you'll realize you can just trade well. Arbitrum, I don't know why. Arbitrum is one that I have a high success rate. I don't know why. Just whatever the moves make, it seems like it telegraphs its next move to me pretty well. So don't always get stuck on one thing. If I'm doing short-term trading, I don't like to trade Solana. If I was going to do leverage trading, I would not trade Solana. And the reason I say that is because I have an attachment to Solana, whether I want to or not. I have a kind of expectation in the long run for Solana, or like we're making these calls on the Trader Tuesdays from week to week. So I don't want to get in and short term leverage trade something that I'm looking at long term or I already have an expectation for, right? If I'm going to short term leverage trade, I want to get into some, look at what the chart's telling me, and execute without preconceived notions and just, less shit to think about. But that's just me. People may think, oh, well, I'm most familiar with Solana. That's what I want to leverage trade, or that's what I want to trade. Have at it. Options. That's the beauty of Thor. There's so many options on how to use it. Just from the very basic of, well, let me just pull up the stream. The very basic of just selecting a call you want, like where are we at right now? 108. If we continue down, that next long call would be this here at the 96. So just going to risk management, I'm going to type in 20 as if I was willing to lose. Well, I'll type in 5. I'm only willing to risk $5 on a trade. So what I'm going to do, I usually go to the middle. I'm going to buy 0.9 Sol, or maybe I'll just buy 1 Solana at 95.93 cents. And I'm going to sell that Sol at 103.36. Set my stop loss at $90.36. Let's fucking roll. So again, if you're new to this and you need to see that again, how you do this, if Solana is to go down in price and therefore trigger a long trade, this is the first long trade that's going to trigger, right? It has the highest entry point, so it's going to trigger. So you want to enter between 95.93 and 96.26. You want to set your take profit at 103.36. Now, if you are trading and not just spot buying and looking to accumulate, you may want to set a stop loss. This is where you put your risk tolerance in. Whatever your personal risk tolerance is, whatever you're willing to risk on that trade. See right here, the amount you are willing to risk. If you are willing to risk, I'm going to just put in another number just for a different variation. I'm willing to risk $10 per trade, right? Calculate. So I now know I'm going to buy 1.79 Sol. I'm going to buy 1.8 Sol at $95.93. I'm going to sell that 1.8 Sol at $103.36, just like it showed on the display before. But now I know my stop loss given my selected risk tolerance. And my stop loss is going to be at $90.36. So that's a profit point on this one of 7.4%. While I'm on this topic specifically, looking at Thor, selecting a call, looking at how to use risk management, does anyone have questions specifically on this while I'm on this? Because this is something really important to learn. It's very simple. When I say it's really important, I don't mean to make it sound, this is really difficult. You got to really get this, man. No, it's the most important thing in trading is risk management, and Thor makes it simple as fuck. So I just want to make sure everybody gets it.
Yes, sir.
I guess I got a question while we're here. If you set like a tight stop loss on a Thor call and you get stopped out, would you look to re-enter the call if it re-enters the zone that Thor called it in, or would that invalidate the call altogether?
Well, if it left the entry zone why would you get stopped out?
Well, let's say you were going long and you had a 5% stop
So
loss.
if you laddered up your stop loss?
I'm saying if you went long and it went down instead and you got stopped out, but if it went back into the original entry zone, would you not try re-entering again?
Okay, so let me pull something up real quick. I'm gonna pull up the Sol chart. It didn't sound like anybody had exact questions to that, so we'll move on a little bit. There's many times, like right here. Let's go back in time a little bit. You'll see when Thor triggered these calls, it went down below it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That an entry zone doesn't mean like set your stop loss at the bottom of that zone that it shouldn't go any lower than that. It can most certainly go down through, and Thor's going to keep it as an active call as long as it's reasonable stop loss point to the take profit point, right? So, excuse me. So what I'm saying is like that one we just looked at that was $96 to 95, whatever. That doesn't mean that when it comes down here that you may not see some candles or some price action below this, right? It's not saying like set your stop loss super tight right at the bottom. No, this is just saying this is the ideal zone for entry and where you look to accumulate, right?
So if you do the risk management calculator, it wouldn't tell you to set a stop loss that tight. Obviously, is what you're saying.
No,
it would.
You won't see a stop loss set that tight. Yeah, to where like it, and really it's calling most of the time for entry right near the bottom of the zone. So you're basically setting a stop loss where you want to be buying. If you're setting a stop loss at the very bottom of this, you're setting the stop loss at your optimal buy. Essentially.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to understand at what point do I want to set, or at what point do I want to say, okay, I'm wrong, and wait for the next call or whatever.
Well, that's when you use the risk management tool so you know exactly how much you're risking, right? And you either allow it to play out or you use your own TA and your own intuition. Are you seeing, support somewhere? Are you seeing resistance off of one of the EMAs? Are you seeing support on an EMA? Are you seeing, a break of your trend? Are you seeing the break and the lower high of a retest? That's where your own TA can come in and say, okay, I have a stop loss, but I really think I'm in the wrong position of this one. But that's what Thor helps do is take out that guesswork, dude. Instead of you having to say, man, how do I know at what point do I say this trade is wrong and to get out of it instead of putting all that on yourself and trying to think of that, it's simplified right here. You just risk management and how much you're willing to lose. Well, at $90.36 is when you say, hey, this trade has gone the wrong way. Now, let's say it comes down to, $92 and starts finding support. Maybe you want to DCA in. Maybe you even want to add a little bit down in that lower zone, not adjust your stop loss, but maybe you want to add a little bit. So by the time it gets back up to entry, you're already in profit. But you don't, when you start chasing stop losses and adjusting stop loss and like a moving stop loss or trailing stop loss. Once you start doing things like that, you've really taken the parameters of Thor and I guess I should say that the proven data of what it does, and you've somewhat thrown that out the window because you're throwing your own TA in and not letting it execute. So maybe you'll find, if you're a really good trader, that you're even more profitable by doing so. But I think most traders would find that letting Thor just execute and either hit the stop loss or hit the take profit is they'll be more beneficial. Now, another thing to do your own research on this, not financial advice, but once you're up into profit, if it's made a retest, you can adjust your stop loss up below that retest. Or sometimes what I'll do, once I'm in profit, I'll move my stop loss to break even, because I don't want the trade. And I'm not saying, okay, I'm in profit right now, hurry up and set it to break even. No, if it's had a little bit of room to breathe and it's moving up, I may set my stop loss to break even. But again, but that's my own TA, and I am aware that I'm now changing the accuracy of Thor because I am not following Thor on its parameters. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm here every week because I'm obviously nowhere near good enough to be trying to outsmart Thor. So I'm just trying to understand, the best ways to execute. I'm not looking to set up, like you said, these complicated stop losses, and I don't want to get wicked out. I don't want to lose my bag, anything crazy like that. So, at Lake Rumpty, I'll probably stay, kind of away from leverage, but I do use it. I am experimenting that with Thor, and I'm having a lot of success. I think you saw me post in the chat about the biggest win I've had to date, and that's thanks to you.
And I remember you had even made a move where it went into profit. You were in good profit, and you bumped your stop loss up. You took profit, and then Thor re-entered the zone.
And I went again.
Yeah,
and I went again, and I took profit again. So overall, I feel like I learned a lot, and did the best I've done so far with what you've been teaching. So I just always trying to bump that up a little bit. I don't know anything about this scaling in, but do you have like a Trader Tuesday thread on scaling into positions?
Basically, I just explained what DCA is, like dollar cost average. So like this call is so tiny, this entry zone. Let's look at one with a wider entry zone, or actually they're all pretty tight. They're all very tight entry zones.
You can use the dream $7 scenario.
Oh, right. Yeah. That with the 275% and take profit 1, just 450% and take profit 3, no big deal. But what I was going to say is, let's just use this as let's see if we can find one that just makes a little more sense. We got Bonk will be a little crazy. Let's see if there's anything on Jute here. Do we got anything with Jute? Let's see what we got with Jute. Okay, they're all tight as shit too. So we're just going to do a hypothetical with the Solana $14 to $7 entry zone, right? So let's say we're approaching this entry zone of $7 to 14. So if you have $50 that you want to put onto this long trade, right? You may buy $10 worth of Solana at $14. You buy $20 worth of Solana at $10. And if it then just blows through the roof and goes up from there, that's what happens. You've got your $30 in, you DCA it in. Now, let's say it continues down to $7. Well, that's when you'd spend your last 20. And you now have $50 in this zone, but you didn't buy it all at 14. And maybe it never did get down to the 7 to trigger for you to buy here at the bottom. So you picked up a little bit of 14 just to make sure you're in the trade. You lowered your cost of the 14 by buying more at $10, right? So now your average cost is between 11 and 12 instead of at 14. If you buy $10 at 14 and you buy $20 worth at 10, right? So you're lowering your costs. And then if you buy another $20 down at 7, you're bringing your entry point down from that initial 14. But
Can you do
you
that
don't want to necessarily say, I'm going to spend $50. I'm going to buy $50 worth of SOL at $8. Well, what if it only gets down to 11? You miss the trade entirely, right? So that's why you may want to put a little bit in the top zone of the trade, a little bit more in the middle zone of the trade, and then scale in with what you want at the complete optimal buy at the bottom, right?
Yep, that makes
so
sense.
You can scale in.
Can you do that when you're in a perpetual as well? You can just
most perpetuals deposit. You can add, and you can a lot of times close portions. So you could also say, say we get to this $54, sell 50% of your perpetual contract, close 50% of your perpetual contract.
Sure.
Then you have the remaining 50% of your contract to either come down to wherever you set appropriate stop loss, or get ready to take profit at 0.2 and 0.3.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's the power of scaling in and scaling out. That's what you'll see Thor does. Why isn't there just one call here at 121 and 120 or at 123, 124? Why is there two calls so close together? Well, because it's going to scale out at these points. It's going to sell a little bit at 120, something that it bought down here, or say that it bought at $103. It's going to sell a little bit of it at 121. It's going to sell a little bit of it at 124. It's going to sell some at 139. It's not like, oh, we're going to hit 139. We're selling everything here.
This is why Thor performs so well, right? Like when you look at the buys and sells,
Absolutely.
Why it looks like a fucking piece of art in the Louvre or whatever, is because it's scaling in and out at like such great zones. It looks flawless.
Absolutely. And the other thing that really, I've talked about this before, but put things in perspective for me, was Thor has $2.5 million to trade with. And it is making buys and sells of $3,000 to $6,000 for the most part. So when you think of how minor each individual trade is in comparison to the entire portfolio, it's minute. And now you think about, you look at these stop losses and these risk management tools, and where it tells you teaches you how to manage your risk. If you're using a very small portion of your portfolio per trade, and you're only willing to give up a very small portion per trade, anything that goes against you is a very, very small portion of your overall portfolio, right? but the small or the wins being larger than the losses, Thor putting you on the right side of probability, giving you more wins than losses, that's what compounds. And you see how well it works through the contract. I mean, but it's buying $3,000, $4,000 worth of SOL when it has $2.5 million it can work with. It's not even buying $10,000 worth of SOL, right? When it has 2.4 mil to work with. So managing your capital and managing your risk, right, is the overall underlying factor of profitable trading.
That's like the equivalent of my 10 SOL trading wallet is trading 0.012 SOL every time it makes a trade.
Exactly. I mean, and you think, well, how am I ever going to make money trading just 0.01 SOL when I have 10 SOL to trade with? Very small losses, bigger wins. Find yourself on the right side of probability more often. Thor helps you do that. It's literally the best fucking indicator I've ever found. And all the time I've spent on YouTube and Twitter and everywhere else trying to learn how to trade over the years, the best indicator I've ever come across is Thor. And Sile keeps breaking it down to make it even more and more simple to where you can literally input what your own individual risk tolerance is. You're only willing to lose $2 per trade? Okay. You're going to sell buy 0.3 SOL at $95 and sell 0.3 SOL at 103. It's nothing extreme, right? You're talking about a $35 trade. $35 in, and you're only willing to risk $2, right? Very small losses, bigger wins. Have your wins more often than your losses. That's what Thor helps you do. Because in reality, you can flip a coin in trading and just kind of guess up or down, long or short, long or short. And as long as you have proper risk management compared to your profit and risk, you can find yourself to be a successful trader. You can be right less than 50% of the time and make money. Thor helps you be right more than 50% of the time and manage that risk.
Yeah, and I have to sleep and live my life and work and do other things. And Thor doesn't.
So we give you the Trader Tuesday to let you know what calls are coming up. We'll give you the mode Thor call of the week. Thursday we'll touch on what happened, and then you got auto Thor for everything in between.
Frogs fuck.
It's hard to beat that. Hard to beat that.
Can we get a trust me, bro soundboard?
Trust me, bro.
There you go.
I can't. That's not my. I feel like that's kind of coined by Andy. When you hear "trust me, bro," like he owns that. He owns it.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me, bro.
What up, motherfuckers?
There you go. We don't need a soundboard. We got it live. There we go. I say shit. No, not financial advice. Do your own research. Don't trust me. I'm a bozo drawing lines on a chart. No, trust me, bro, is not mine at all.
There it is. Someone save it.
I give you the opposite. I give you the opposite of trust me, bro. I'm like, you do what the fuck you want. Shit.
I'm just drawing lines.
I'm just drawing lines, man.
Hey, Mode, I had a question that kind of leaned into Fihu's positioning type of deal.
Like scaling in and scaling out?
Sort of. So my question is, I tend to either, you know, make
FOMO.
a.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
No. So I tend to like just place a regular call or position with a stop loss and TP, right? And in times of high volatility, when retracements are meeting entry points, is that an indication to you to either take profits along the way while it scales back down, assuming it'll retrace back up, or do you not even bother touching the position altogether and just let it play out?
So are you saying if Solana is dropping in price, do I take the long calls that are going up even though we're in a downtrend?
Well, do you take, as it's dropping, let's say it drops a good 0.5%, right? And no one goes broke taking profits. But let's just say you want to just let the call that Thor gave to play out. And let's say that Solana's price retraces back up that 0.5% to where your entry point is. Would you consider I guess taking profits when it goes back down, assuming it'll retrace back up in times of like crazy volatility? I don't know.
Well, I think one thing we're getting a little confused is maybe some terminology. Usually, a retrace is like going down. So you're talking about in a short call, not a long call, right?
Oh, I guess I'm referring to. Well, yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand exactly what you were.
So for instance, let's say you're taking a call, a short, a so short call, right?
Right.
And you see, and price, drops. Let's just say
now you're in
0.5%.
profit.
Yeah, exactly. You're in profit. Let's just say 0.5%. And or 1%, whatever. And the price drives back up. If that's what I meant by retracing. But if that's a long term, then
so it pumps back up toward the entry zone.
Yeah. Would you then look at that as like an indicator that price could continue, or if you see that it happens 2 or 3 times?
I think I get what you're saying. So if Solana hits the entry zone and leaves the entry zone, that doesn't mean that it shouldn't come back to it. Price could go sideways forever. It could dance inside that entry zone forever. All I'm looking at is, okay, we've hit entry zone. Am I hit? Does it look like I'm more likely to hit stop loss or take profit first? And as long as I don't see anything as a major resistance that all of a sudden things are changing to where I think it's going to just dump its ass, I'm not worried about. Even if it goes up into profit and comes back down to entry zone, that's nothing to necessarily worry about, right? Especially if it ends up making, as long as it's not making that lower low, right? So remember, we usually want our stop loss below the last low. So as long as it's making somewhat of a higher high, higher low, or staying above that last low, you're good. But yeah, you'll find many times that, even like Young was talking about, Feu was talking about, he entered a long call, it pumped. He said, you know what, I'm in good profit, too much profit to let this just go down to stop loss or break even. I'm seeing it looks like a little resistance. He took profit. Well, then it dropped back into entry zone and looked like it was finding support, so he took it long again. Yeah, Thor's not saying, hey, once we hit this zone, you're not going to see it again. Thor is just saying once we hit this entry point, there is a higher probability of hitting the take profit before hitting the relative stop loss. It doesn't say it's going to happen today. It doesn't say it's going to happen tomorrow. It doesn't say, sometimes you'll see it hits it and just barely wicks into that call and is gone. And it's like Thor is so precise. Other times you'll see it dances in it, sometimes even goes a little low or a little bit through the call. But yeah, just watch your relative stop loss, because don't be afraid to get stopped out. Remember, that's why you're managing your risk properly. You can get stopped out. Don't be afraid to get stopped out. Be afraid of adjusting your stop losses up too tight, getting stopped out, and then having the trade going in your favor. You may find that actually happens more often. Believe me, I chased that cycle before, of just trying to always ladder up my stop loss to make sure I get every bit of profit. I get stopped out just for it to return and go the direction, my intended direction. So trade your plan your trade your plan.
And I think that key thing right there, that's along with risk management, I think that's what I've been missing is
sticking to your plan.
Make your plan and trade it, because in long calls, well, not long, but like long calls that have a long duration, I'll tend to see that it's like making highs and lows, and and we'll go at scaling at it, and that wasn't the original plan. So that's something that I needed to have heard again to get reinstilled.
Yeah, if you get good at TA and you want to go with the flow some, like you can, but now that's where a lot of emotions get mixed in. That's where anxiety or FOMO comes in.
Yep.
And dude, when I say this, I can say these things, like when I call these things out on stream here, I can say these things because I can promise whatever mistakes you've made, I've made the same ones and 100-fold more times than you have, right? Because I've been doing this longer, and I'm a very I'm one of those people that's very much stuck in my own fucking head and analytical about everything, and including my own mindset and what I'm thinking, what I'm doing. And so I say these by having made those mistakes before, not saying like, oh, you're doing it wrong. No, I'm saying, no, I know the feeling, bro. And it's one of those things that to get over it, you just have to make yourself aware of it. You have to, ask yourself before you place that trade. Okay, you're setting it in. I want my stop loss here. I'm going to enter here. There's my stop loss. Okay, wait. 2 seconds. Is this a smart trade? Why? Is this a smart trade? What is my risk versus my reward? And then execute. Like, slow yourself down and ask yourself, is this a smart trade? Like, and convince yourself it's the smart one instead of just going with the feeling of hurrying up and executing and following that adrenaline pump. Because I went through it before too. It's gambling, not trading. It becomes gambling, not trading, and you don't want to go in that cycle.
I remember when you first mentioned on like the first stream or so, revenge trading, and you weren't lying. That shit will bite you in the ass.
Yeah, you trade, just 2% of your portfolio and you get stopped out short. You trade 2% going long because you got stopped out short. You get stopped there. Now you're like, fuck, you want that money back. So now you're going 5% short. You're up in your bags in your chases, and it's a slippery slope. Not many come out on the winning side of it. Put it that way. Yeah, being aware of your own emotions when you're making trades, being aware of your own thoughts, and literally, if it helps you, ask yourself this. When you're about to place your next trade, I want you to, in your head, convince me. Be like, all right, I got to tell Mode why this is a good trade I'm about to make. And if you can't reasonably tell me why you think it's a good trade, you probably shouldn't be making it, right? Like, create your own kind of little check. Like, I do that personally. So before I make a trade, is this something I would advocate on Trader Tuesday? Well, no, I wouldn't recommend people do that. Then why the fuck am I going to do it? Having your own little mental check to make yourself aware of your own emotions and your own mindset, unless you're silent and perform like a fucking robot and you don't get emotional in trading, it's good to have some type of check, whatever it is.
Yo, you say you trading like a robot, bro. So he had mentioned one of the soul. Remember, all right. So the 4-hour so long we recently had, yo. this man, he held that shit till from the 98 to what, like 109. And I had full belief we were going to go like straight down. So that type of non-robotic, that robotic type of approach is unfathomable. That's just wild.
Well, if you remember, we called for an entry here and take profit at the long and then ride the long to profit. And then we said, if we see resistance by our downtrend and we fail to break a higher high, which at this point we have failed, you could look to open a short here with the stop and look to take profit down here. So right now it looks like we may be finding support on the RSI. We may be finding support on the short-term EMA, or we may be meeting resistance right here again. Not sure. But, entering and setting stop above last, let me set it up as if it were a long position or a short position. So if you're to find resistance again, I'm not saying do this right now or anything, but if we find resistance and you're to set stop loss above last high, not even just, right here, you're 2.5%. Take profit would be the next Thor long entry, top of the zone. you're looking at 12%. So you're looking at a risk to reward. I'd actually give this just a little bit of room to breathe. 3%, 3.5%. You're looking at a 3 to even 4 to 1 risk to reward ratio. Now, not financial advice, do your own research. I'm not telling you like go open up a short right now. What I said last week and in the update I made in the Tuesday Trader Review is, hey, we have hit this entry point. I'm looking to take profit. And when I see resistance, as long as it's not a higher high, if I see resistance at our downtrend area, could look to open up a short ride to the next downtrend. Take to the next profit. But it does look like we got a pretty good, at least initial support off of the EMA here. But we're kind of at resistance again. We'll see. The RSI did break up above neutral, but that doesn't mean it's going to hold, right? Things don't always like hit the lines perfect. You know, it's kind of a guideline, not a fucking perfect, you know, cut and dry line like a take profit and a stop loss is. Like, you know, candles can get pushed around, and especially with a pendulum swing. If we get a pump that is accentuated with extra liquidity and the pendulum swings up pretty fucking hard, well, expect the downswing to be equal. You know, the pendulum, when it swings one way, it's going to go back the other. But yeah, proper risk management. But if you're new on stream here, we talk about Thor calls. You know, these are Thor entry points, and these boxes are Thor take profit points. We have both the long set up. You can see the newest long we have here. Or no, this is the newest one, but and we have Thor shorts. So the red boxes are short entry zones, and the blue boxes are our long entry zones. So you see last week we were coming down and we said, get ready to take profit here. Remember, we took a short at the break, took profit in the Thor long, rode the Thor long to profit, looked for the resistance, take the resistance short, profit into the Thor long to the take profit. I know my charts get a little confusing, especially if I show like, you know, really zoom out. It's like, what the hell? But
yeah, this is my first stream looking at these lines. I'd be like, right? What the hell?
What's crazy is now, I can still look at this and it still all makes sense to me. It's ridiculous. But that's why I'm going to start some new charts for the, you know, markets with mode or whatever I choose to call it. But wherever you see these little green points, these are calls that we made on stream, either with Thor or with our own TA that were successful. You can see there was one that I made that got stopped out, but stopped out in profit. Because we said adjust the stop loss to break even on that. Once we were in profit. And all those are in the Tuesday Trader Review channel. You can see when these calls were made before it hit entry. Right? You know, it's not like, oh yeah, no, we talk about them beforehand. Just like this last one, this last 4 hour right here, we talked about it. We were prepared for it. We made profit on it. So where are we at now? What we're looking at now is, if you've watched my streams and my TA, I'm all about the break and the retest. What do I mean by that? I'll go to a little diagram I made here. An uptrend, I consider a series of, if this is our low, we've now made a higher low. If this is our high, we've made a higher high, right? Pretty simple. If the next low is higher, it's a higher low. If the next high is higher, it's a higher high. So in my definition, an uptrend is a series of higher lows followed by higher highs. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now, first indication that we may not be following this trend anymore is either a lower high or a lower low. And a series of lower lows and lower highs, I consider a downtrend. Now, if you look here at this trend line connecting our lows, when we break this line and get a retest, that signifies my point of a downtrend. Same when we break and we get a retest and form a higher low, that's when I form the new uptrend. So let's go to Solana price action right now as is. You see we had this uptrend. And you see we've broken it and look to be making the lower high. And if we do, that's a good indicator of the lower low, which would be this point, which would be a good indicator of a lower high, which would be this take profit point and still in downtrend, right? Now, if we see we break this downtrend, if we break this and then find support on it, now we could be looking to connect the bottoms for our new uptrend, right? I try to make it pretty simple. Now, they don't always respect as exact as this, but this is my trading strategy in a single diagram summed up about as simple as possible. And when I get a break of trend, you know, whether it be here or here, when I get a break and a retest, this is where I want to buy on the retest. I want to buy on the retest. Right? If I'm looking to go short, if I'm looking to close this long position, my first indicator, I'm closing some of my long position here. I'm closing my long position here because I've broke. And if I haven't gotten out yet fully, I'm doing so on the retest. On the break, first indicator is the lower high, but the break and retest. Now, let's say I was just looking to make a short. When would I do it? Uptrend, uptrend, uptrend. First indicator we may be going short is the lower high. Second indicator we may be going short is the break. Third indicator we may be going short is the lower low. Don't chase the short. Wait for the retest, and as long as it forms that lower high, this is where I want to open my short. Why? Because I've got one indicator, two indicators, three indicators, and number four, I consider my confirmation and buy. Just like a long, where do I want to buy long? First indicator is this higher low. Second indicator is this break. Third indicator is the higher high. I want to buy on the confirmation of the higher low. I don't want to chase the long. I want to buy on the confirmation. Because if you're buying anywhere up here pumping, your stop loss down to last low is a lot greater than if you're waiting till you're buying on some type of support, some type of retest, and what your stop loss now is to last low. Reduce your risk, increase your profit, right? But wait for some type of confirmation. Those are confirmation to me. Indicator one is is the change of direction. Indicator 2, so that would be indicator 1. Indicator 2 is the break. Indicator 3 is the lower low. Indicator 4, lower high is where I want to ride the short. Where do I get out of the short? Number 1, first indicator, that higher low. Can get out here at the break. If I didn't get everything all the way out, I want to get out at that next retest. And this looks simple, right? I mean, in my mind, this is a pretty simple trading strategy. There's not a whole lot of, there's no bells and whistles and crazy lines and reading money line and VWAP and, all this other shit. Now, when I compare those patterns, you see the patterns when we draw them out. When I compare those patterns with Thor, that's where I say, okay, I know to take on the break. And where do I think my point is going to be before the retest at the Thor entry? So you can see how I kind of pair Thor with my own TA. And I found it to be profitable.
It's a cheat sheet right there.
I do feel like that's a cheat sheet, bro. I do feel like
it prevents you from cheating yourself and just throwing out, random shots.
And keeps your emotion
for
in
that
check.
confirmation, dude. Wait until like I was talking to a buddy that's he's a gamer, and I was like, dude, it's like a balls fight. Like you played Mike Tyson's Punch Out, right? When the dude dips and does the shoulder roll, he's about to charge you. Don't fucking go for it. Dodge. And if he doesn't, okay, well, you dodge for no reason. You just set up for the next one. No loss, right? But it's like a boss fight in a video game. You wait for the tells and then you make your move, right? You wait for the tells. You wait for the first indicator. Wait for the second tell. Wait for the third. Now you strike and hit the motherfucker, right? It's setting up the game the same way. You wait for the indicators and then make your strike.
Yo, what's funny? I thought of the same analogy a few days ago, just from swimming in the fucking market all this time. And now it's spot on because these market makers, they have holes, and Thor, like you said, gives that curtain peek. And
Thor uses the market makers' data, really. I mean, Thor's looking at the zones that the market makers create, and the points that the market makers create. And yeah, it kind of exposes kind of their strategy to us a little bit. And that's another conversation about, there's some people that don't believe in market makers. They believe it's simply bulls and bears. There's more people trying to push price down than trying to push price up and vice versa. But I will tell you that there are market
because everyone's into crypto.
there are market makers, and they can have influence, and that's why zones are often revisited and play out pretty well, and why Thor can pick such specific data points, right? Like Thor doesn't say, somewhere around like, I don't know, maybe 112-ish, look for a short. No, it says $112.368 is the beginning of your zone, right? It's very specific in its data, and that's because market makers leave specific patterns, points, and create specific data points. Thor just helps analytically expose it and then visually display it for us to take advantage of. But one thing I wanted to say before I forget, everything that I've talked about on this, cheat sheet, as Young just called it, is in the Tuesday Trader Review channel, to where this picture is there and it's completely written out, kind of just as I described it. Did someone have a question? I heard somebody. Yes, no, maybe. Abby. Yeah, Abby. The Auto Thor. You're talking about the seeing the trades that Auto Thor made. Yes, that will be coming back. Don't worry.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Yep. I like it too. Even
you want to
Rumpty and
pull
I
that up and show it off, like the new interface. Maybe like people watch this back and just see it.
Yeah,
It won't be coming back. Yeah, the previous trading data, it won't be coming back.
Well, no, I think what he's saying is showing where it's executing trades.
It will not be coming back.
Oh, shit. So we won't know when Thor's buying and selling?
Secret sauce, man. Secret sauce.
Oh,
Let's just give you guys a nice big fat APY to look at and show you guys what the USDC is doing. And there's a bunch of other things we're doing on the interface, but we will not be showing, at least not live data of executed transactions. But we could potentially do like previous week or something like that. So, but it will not be live.
Do we still get the Telegram notifications that?
I don't know. Trust me, bro.
Just leave it at trust me, bro. No,
let us cook, bro. Let us cook.
I like it. I like it. And I've looked at it before, to say, hey, if Thor's selling, maybe I should be selling some of my own bag too. And then instead of doing that, I told you guys last week, I put another significant chunk of my Solana holding inside of Thor, because instead of me sitting there saying, you know what, I'm gonna my big bag, or my bag that I'm only making bigger trades with, instead of me trying to manage it as well, why not? Thor's proven itself to me. So I just added more of my Solana bag to Thor in this range, because if we do retrace, I'm looking for it to turn what I put into even more Solana. Even if it goes down and it doesn't become more USD value, that was Solana I was holding, and that Solana was only going to stay that number of Solana, right? Whether Solana went up or down, the number of Solana I had wasn't going to change. So by me putting it into Thor, I'm hoping for exactly that, for the number of Solana go up, because that's my ultimate goal. Number of Solana go up. So, as far as the new interface, trust me, bro, quote unquote, from Andy, not me. There you go.
I do hope y'all like it, though, for now. It's a nice little test of things to come.
I do like it. I think it looks clean, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks way fucking cleaner.
And it's way
there's
also...
There's a little love we got to do.
Of course. But like, I think it's also, if I'm thinking about it from somebody who has never looked at it before, it would be easier for me to understand what I'm looking at. So I think
you
did that well too.
Thank you. So one cool thing, Mode, I'm sorry, I don't want to steal the show. So what's really cool is that you can perceive you can perceive the contract how you want to at this point. You can come in, and now that the inputs are dynamic, and you can either go at it saying, hey, I want to hit this USDC amount, or I have 15 SOL laying around. How much USDC would I need to match it with? Putting in those different parameters for a user, it lets you approach it how, best suits your position that you're in. Like, dude, we all have some SOL sitting around. Maybe we want to add to it. We don't know if we need a bunch of USDC or whatever. Or if you want to straight up say, like, hey, I want to put $5,000 in right now. So it is cool. It changes the way you approach the contract, and it's going to be even cooler soon. Trust me, bro. I'm doing so good at holding alpha in. I know y'all hate it, but it's going to be fun and worth the wait when we actually get to releasing some of this shit. But you're starting to see very small tidbits of it right now.
So, before we started stream, had some questions about what the benefits of 180 and what benefits of 365 might be. I kind of explained that it's set it and forget it, and then you're only paying the the fee to open position and the tax on the contract less often.
Yeah. I mean, so we don't, we're not trying to tax y'all's faces off. And 90 days was really, y'all seen us working for a couple of years on, how does the length of time that a contract impacts like personal trading accounts. And so, obviously we want it to be an option. We think that 90 days is the minimum amount that it's really reasonable for a Thor contract to be open. And so, cool, right on. That's the minimum, and you can go 6 months or a year. You get taxed considerably less, and overall, that lets you, have your Thor contract work with that additional capital that would have been taxed 2 other times. So in the long run, it does give you more trades. It does give you the ability to stay exposed to the contract longer. And it's your function. I am going to tell you all this right now. I do want there to be a way that you can close it early. I do want that, but there's not really a perfect way for us to do that yet. And so we're not going to release something before it's perfect. As with anything, we want this to be, a DeFi protocol that people feel comfortable and safe using. But there's a reason that we lock those funds in there. There's ongoing trades. There are things that we're doing mathematically to approximate upcoming trades. And so there needs to be at least some buffer between that so that people coming in and out of the contract don't impact the trades. So, and that gets even further when we get closer to the USDC only contract. So fun shit. I could ramble on forever, but yeah, you get taxed less often, and you ultimately have that capital to work with for longer periods of time.
Yeah, and it compounds. Like you said, you're not losing that money to taxes. That money's working for you, compounding that much longer. So, yeah, set it, forget it. If you've got a bag of SOL and you just want it to grow, you'd be hard pressed to find anything that does better. If you show me something that outperforms Thor, please, if you find something, please show me, because I'd be very fucking interested. But I doubt you'll find
I'm sorry, did he say the USDC contract?
No.
Wait, what? You were breaking up there, bro. Moving on. Yeah, static. It's crazy.
I like that we saw some information. Now I have the feeling I see less information. I want to say that. And I used also I shielded to a lot of people, and I always showed them, here, look how crazy good he is in trading. So the auto contract. Yeah, I trust you, but I wanted to mention that I liked to see the information.
Well, I like how Andy, I did like seeing it too, but I like how Andy worded it, the secret sauce. I mean, if we're literally showing everyone and anyone exactly when Thor is buying, what's to stop some community from creating a spin-off that's nothing more but, reprinting the trades Thor made, but a few minutes later, right? Like, or some dumb shit like that. So, I mean, I like seeing it. I did like seeing it too, but I don't hate that it is kind of hidden and just fucking working for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The easy solution, Abby, is like just showing last week's trades. You know, like I don't want it to be live data for that exact reason. You know, it is really easy to copy trade or even just take advantage of a live stream of data. And so it's not like anything it changes too much. We can just show either like the last 24 hours or something, but there will be at least a delay in the information.
That
Gotcha.
would be
Smart,
the
yeah.
shit if we could almost see the data displayed like it was before, but on like a 24 or 48 hour delay. So like Abby was saying, you can show and see exactly how it's performed, but you can't copy trade it.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
That's cool.
Trust me, bro. We'll just leave it at that. Trust me, bro. It's gonna work out.
TMB.
Trust me, bro. We got this shit.
Because to his point, I was doing the same. I have a buddy in real life, believe it or not, who actually I've talked to in crypto, like about crypto, and he mentioned Sol, and I was like, oh yeah, and so we went down the rabbit hole of talking for a while, and I told him about Cyber Frogs, and he was super just interested in it, and I had shown him just the trades, and he's like, what the fuck, and it's just piqued interest. So I think that's as long as it can't be like copied, because obviously you don't want that, but being able to mitigate and have both of those worlds would obviously be ideal. But yet again, man, I trust you, bro.
Well, Rumpty, you and I mean, you've even messaged me and you're like, hey, I noticed AutoThor was taking profits here. Do you think I should be taking profits on my long or what? Like we've looked at what Thor was doing to influence some of our own decisions. So
for sure,
I like the secret sauce.
I do. I like it.
That's sort of the point, though. You know, like
for sure.
I don't want to play devil's advocate here, but it is sort of the point too. And Thor Auto Contract is trading with such a different strategy than you guys could be, and so letting something that doesn't really have an impact on your specific plan, I think in and of itself is, maybe a little off that sort of trader mentality to start, and so. It is cool. You definitely can use it as an indicator, but that strategy is so specific that it really could, impact your trade in a negative way, looking at it or trying to interpret it. We're scaling in and out of pretty broad ranges, and y'all are seeing microtransactions recompounding and scaling back in, and it almost looks fucking fake when you look at it. That chart everyone's talking about right now, it literally almost looks fake, hitting every local top and rebuying in on every bottom and then just sort of recompounding it. You know what I mean? So like, we get it. That's cool because it's all on the blockchain, and that's one of the things that you can't hide, and so we're not worried about it being like some, secret access, but I will say that there will be more coming that will impact your desire to see. I don't know how to say it. Just trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Soon.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I've had people, a lot of people hit me up when they're first interested in Thor, the auto contract or manual trading, and they're like, so wait, it bought here and sold right there, and it bought here. And I'm like, yes, but where you see it buy doesn't mean the very next spot is where it sold. Like, it could be that could be what it just sold could be a take profit 3-point from a fucking daily trade a month ago. Like, it's not necessarily like, oh, it bought and then sold the same thing 15 minutes ago. Like Andy was saying, you don't know what trade that it is taking profit on at that point because it's executing so many trades at once. It's hard to interpret the data, but it is almost unreal to fucking look at when you see it displayed like that.
Mode, when was the last time you saw one of the previous months like signal charts? Have you
Dude,
seen
I
those
miss
before?
fucking Black Sheep's charts, bro.
Oh no, Veloci does them. Veloci, if you have one handy, post it in general chat, man. Like last month's or whatever your most recent trading chart is. It looks fucking fake. You know, that's what I love about it. But then you start using it and you start seeing some of these things that Mode's in here talking about and, you know, teaching you guys about, and it just it clicks. But just super quick, the trades that we were taking, we were selling Solana that we had bought from like $26, you know, to $19 if some of you guys were around for that little period. You know, that's really what started this whole, I think, sort of mini Thor exposure run, is that strategy. You know, we were calling for this on the weekly chart, $120. So we were selling Solana from $40 all the way up to $120, you know, constantly recompounding and rebalancing, you know, our position. So it is hard to interpret it because Mode and you guys are right. We were taking trades that we had been in for a long time, you know, because those ranges are what we had eyed on for the 1 week. So yeah, don't use it as like a crystal ball is all I'm trying to say.
Right. Good. But yeah, you don't know when the other side of that trade was executed. It could have been a long time ago. But yeah, it is cool to look at. And Veloci, you are fucking awesome. Just want to say. But that would be cool having a delayed display. Whatever we gotta do, I'm sure we'll figure it out. Trust me, bro.
Let's add it
all
to
right.
the contract. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking
First
go.
time I've added
Never
to
a
it.
bad time.
Yes, sir.
Never a bad time. So if you are new to it, like Andy was saying, you know, if you want to put in $500, you simply just type in 500 here, and it's going to tell you how much SOL you need, how much USDC you need. You pick your lockup period, you know, read your terms and conditions, not financial advice, do your own research, and then you deposit. 5,000, just type in 5,000. It'll tell you exactly what you need. Pretty sweet, pretty clean, pretty easy. That's what we like. If you need to swap, we got the swap. If you're leaving a shit chain and come into Solana, we got a bridge from ETH over. So yeah, we make it nice and easy for you.
Is it still with Kira? When I start the contract, do I have to still pay Kira? I don't see
Nope.
it.
Okay. Nope. We removed the deposit fee.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Okay.
There we go. Glad we got
removing barriers, removing barriers, and removing friction. And if we want our platform to be successful, we need to set it up intuitively and easily. And trust me, bro. But yeah, let's remove barriers.
Yep. User interface. Interface of it is one of the biggest things. You know, I say there's always three things to mass adoption. You have to solve a solution or provide something valuable. You have to make that solution either free or cheap as possible and completely reasonable in its cost and use. And number three, and just as important as 1 and 2, is user interface. It has to be easy to use. So constant evolution. That's the contract will constantly be evolving to match that and get this mass adoption. And again, like I said, as I kind of start rolling out a new trader, no more Tuesday trader. We'll have a new name starting next week and going to be doing things a little bit different. I'm going to need you guys helping me get that info out there, but also this info, removing the friction and how easy it is to use this contract, and how you don't have to be a cyberfrog, how you don't have to have an NFT. Getting more users and increasing that TVL, reaching a lot of those people is up to you, and it does just benefit us all, right? So we are going to be relying on the community a lot to help pump out, hype up, and spread the word on a lot of the things that the team is building and expanding on, and trust a bro.
There's things coming that I haven't even alluded to in the past. It's pretty wild. Let's just say that Tap and Thor and the way you interact with everything is going to look and feel and be much different strategically, and from an interaction stance.
I love it. Constant evolution. Always improving. All right. We're going to close up shop here. I'm going to go over a couple of the degenerates that we talk about each week.
Yes, sir.
And then
This is what I was actually here for,
let me pull up Bird Eye as well real quick. And then we will touch on Solana real quick on just where we're at, how we're ending off.
Right, isn't that shit wild, Mode, that I sent you? That screenshot that I sent you with the zone, like I'm learning how to draw the zone, and it just pierced right in and see you later.
Dude, I'm telling you, and some people think market makers don't exist. When you start to
that is a market maker game for sure. Like filling that zone after blowing through with the candles, like that is definitely market maker moves right there.
All right, let's see.
Oh, yo, I've seen that shit at least twice. In the past,
I'll send you a
days.
screenshot, Young, that I did like 2 weeks ago ish, something like, or like a week and a half ago. It's wild on Win token.
I mean, and exactly like this, even like Thor calling that perfect zone, and look how it didn't even close in the zone. It wicked into it a couple times, but didn't even have a candle close within it. Kuji, who was asking about Kuji?
Kuji.
Whoever was asking about Kuji, you can see we got the break and we are following the uptrend, had the bullish cross a while ago, and we are still making those higher highs, higher lows. Looking good for you. ADA, you look, we were talking about this. Oh man, we got so close. Was that a Thor long call? Probably. Yeah. I don't know why. That must have been a Thor long call right there. So close to touching it. Doesn't mean it's out of play. Well, maybe it's been removed. Not sure, but good job if you bought somewhere on this support. We were talking about it coming down to make a retest on this longer term EMA before moving back up, right? Why did we say that? Because we got the break of our downtrend. We're looking for the retest, higher lows, higher highs, moving up, and then finding support here. And of course, the ultimate indicator, the Thor long call. Injective, as you were talking about, Injective moves pretty wild. You remember we had our wedge up here.
My first trade with
it. So what was that?
I said I still have PTSD from my first trade with the Injective.
So you see, we talked about we had this wedge here a while ago, and we said if it breaks down, look for it to stay pressed down for a little bit. It did. We got the break and the retest, making that higher low, higher high. We did make the lower low from here, but then came back up to the higher high. Like I said, moves a moves a little wild. But it's looking strong and pumping. Man, we got the beginning of our trend. Look, see, we got the break. We got the retest, but what happened once we broke the downtrend, found support, and moved up a leg? So remember, we don't know how long a trend is going to move. We don't know that just because an uptrend breaks, that doesn't mean that it's going into a massive downtrend. It means it could go into a slower uptrend. It could go in a downtrend. It could go sideways. All you know is the current trend, and this rip slowed, and it did. You see, it did take that retrace for a while, but again, we set our trend line, and as soon as we got low, the lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, as soon as we got that lower high, that break, that high, lower high, there's your confirmation, right? And it took the fuck off. Gala.
Yep.
Gala was. Oh, well, sorry. Did someone get in on that?
Yeah, to piss. Would you now adjust the trend line, the big green trend line, or would you make a new one? A pit? I don't know.
For longer term, you could basically make a bigger trend line, and what I do for my personal charts is I'll make that one like fatter, right? I'll maybe make that a 4. So when I'm looking at the chart, I know like, oh, that's like, because we did break this uptrend, right?
Yeah.
And we did start a bit of a downtrend, but overall, yes, we're still making, if you consider this a low and that a high, that's a higher low going for a higher high. So it just depends on your time frame. But yes, you could certainly look at making kind of a longer term uptrend by connecting them now.
Okay.
But it also did, I mean, if you look, when we first set these fibs and we talked about buying here in the golden zone and taking profit here at the green, you can see we did set up again and move down, but not even an entire level before it found support, which is really bullish. But it did meet the top of our fib about perfect. So who knows? That may have been a little bit of a blow off. It may be getting ready to reset. Either way, this is the longer term trend line that we want to see holding now.
Okay.
Gala doing some crazy shit, right?
Yep.
Gala, I gotta take this all the way out to a daily. Gala, we talked about the downtrend that it's been in, broken, pumped, of revealing. See, just like we did in the uptrend, and then we have the big fat line. Because we knew we broke the one, right? So then we have the big fat line. That's the same thing we just did on Pith in the opposite direction, right?
Yeah.
So now that we saw this trend line, we got the break, and we said if we get the retest by setting up our fibs here, we retest in the gold zone. That was our ultimate buy zone, right? Ultimate buy zone was right here in the gold. You see how we came in and found support on it perfect. We said TP1 would be here at the blue line and TP2 up here at the green. You can see I actually have the box, like I set up the Thor trades. And that's up there at 200% to that take profit point. And right now, if you got in this trade, you see I set this up because where I noticed it had actually just left the gold zone, but Had you bought in the gold like we talked about, you are currently up 79%, 82%. Congratulations, and looking at that 200 plus. I still think we can get there. This is, look, this is a long term, right? This is a daily chart we're talking about. We first got this break, right? This break was all the way back in October. So this isn't, short-term movements. Yes, it's been pumping short-term, but because it's a volatile and call it a shitcoin, we have been watching it long-term, especially because long-term belief that some of us have in this coin. Do your own research, not financial advice. GMT we talked about. You see it's still we got the break and we got the retest. And remember, we set this up here as a hypothetical. We said if we do find support, you could look to make a long and set below last low, would look to take profit here at this strong resistance point, which would be 112%. But you are also risking near 20% on the stop loss here, right? 15 to 20%. So this is a degen trade. I'm not saying go take this trade. People had GMT and wanted to know what's what. And this is what the fuck's what. And you see, it looks like it's respecting pretty well what we had set up a while ago. As far as this, one, the major accumulation bottom zone, we wanted to see it enter, right? And then two, the short-term accumulation zone that we wanted to see hold. So if you did get in here when we were talking about it, well, fucking done. You're on your way. OMI, that's another we talked about. You can see we had set up the gold zone. That was our buy zones, right? And we knew we had the strong resistance here each time. So we said buy in the gold, sell on the resistance. So that was a 90% move. Came down. We said DCA back in these areas, which it did get a pump, but then we met that stronger resistance. And once again, we set up for the same thing. We got in the gold zone, hit the resistance for another 90% plus move. Tuesday Traders called some good ones. Sad to see Tuesday Trader go, huh?
This is FUD.
I will have these charts to refer back to and everything, but I am going to start all new Solana chart just to have it a little bit cleaner and just do it a little bit differently. But yeah, not much has changed, and we're still doing shit on Tuesdays about the same. Just adding in a day and starting with some new charts and shit. Bitcoin broke through that ceiling we had, and same thing like we talked about. It got up here to the take profit point on that big call that we made down here at the golden entry point right here at that 19,000 and hit the take profit here at the 31, 32, and then up here at the 42. We've been watching these levels to see if it keeps climbing, and you see it keeps just breaking resistance after breaking resistance. But we are all the way up here at the top of our fib. And are we exhausted for this move? Time will tell. If you also look, the RSI is topped out pretty high right now. We may be exhausted for this move, but then again, we're in a new era for Bitcoin, right? We've got ETFs, we've got people considering Bitcoin as a valuable asset in a diversified portfolio. even for those that don't really look at crypto, Bitcoin is now considered something to have in a diversified portfolio. So we may see bull market moves that don't quite respect all the rules, right? That's why we have our own TA. That's why we have Thor. Bonk.
Well, especially with Bitcoin, because now you've got the floodgates in America.
Exactly.
That
Bitcoin could be doing some odd shit. Yes. You see, we set up this zone with Bonk, and we said this is where we want to start buying back in. I actually sold up here. This is the dot Brumty when I said I alerted you, hey, we're in the middle of our accumulation zone. Get ready. And I have been accumulating when we bounce off the bottoms in the zone, and actually a little bit right here even, because it was in the middle of the zone, but finding support. So now this, for me, I am looking at both, I guess you could say, somewhat of a short term, as in this, 100% take some profits, but I'm also looking at this as a long-term DCA bag of Bonk to see if it does some crazy shit. If Solana gains major fucking traction, not financial advice, do your own research. I'm not advocating this. I'm not even saying this is going to happen. This is just some bozo fucking moon boy shit. But could you imagine if Solana gains major traction inside the ecosystem as a whole, what Bonk could do as a meme coin, kind of like fucking SHIB or Doge did? Not even to those levels, but I'm just saying, if it gets even a little of that from these levels, what you are looking at in returns would be
astronomical.
Astronomical. Let's fucking go.
Because Doge, I mean,
Doge was like fucking 50 billion or something stupid
myself.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, people right now are talking Bonk or thinking Bonk, and it's like Bonk in between SHIB and Doge, Solana, this and that. Like, and I'm with it, but that's like, you're talking about Bonk hitting where SHIB and Doge are like at their bottoms. So what about
right?
Euphoria?
Like, I mean, it's not like you need a lot to make some big movement.
There's just no telling where that token goes, and that token is intertwined with the narrative, the tokenomics, the team, all the shit.
I need some Bonk.
Bro, I've been buying Bonk every day for a long time. $1 a day, and Bonk keeps the doctor away, man.
Jupe, you see what we've got going on and the moves we've kind of been making. We've been finding a support only to move up and meet that ultimate resistance again. Finding a support, moving up to meet that resistance. But are we finding support again? If you guys have seen me draw them before, we're kind of in that wedge. You see me draw the triangle. Where the fuck is it on this chart? There it is. We're in this price wedge right now. So what I'm looking for Jupe, you see, I sold some up here on the second pump. I missed the first pump, but I did take a little bit of profits. Some of my bags here on the second pump, and I'm looking to get back in, but I don't want to get back in until I see this downtrend break and some support, right? So either we're looking at finding the resistance and maybe finding support here, or continuing down, going through accumulation phase again, and then retesting, right? What we have been. Or we could find support here, right? maybe this is our move. But what I want to see is the breakout, and then what? The retest. I don't want to see it fall back in here. I want to see it make a higher low and find support outside of this downtrend. And when it does, that's when I'm going to look to buy back in. It could happen right now, but we also had a line right here. So he said, look, we got the break. We're getting ready to go, right? Well, that was more resistance, not really a break and a retest, right? Same thing here, right? Oh, wait, we got the break, right? We're breaking out. No, we didn't really break out or try to get a retest. Are we holding support and maybe then try for a breakout and retest? We will see, but we don't know yet. But could very well get the breakdown and retest, right? Break, retest, and maybe fill this zone for a while longer. This is, as of now, this is the DCA zone. If we come back in here and find support, I'm going to maybe look to start adding back to my juke bag a little bit. Because we did find support and reject that fairly quick. If we come down and we hold the same and don't get a new low, I will probably accumulate at least a little bit. All right, back to Solana, and then I'm wrapping this shit up.
Wait, Mo, would you before Sol, could you look at DOT real quick?
What?
DOT.
Polkadot.
Oh, DOT. Yeah.
So my main question, one of your take, Thor has a, let's see. 1 second. Shit. Well, it's got a call while I log back in. It's got a call for $8.70 as a 4-hour.
Okay, which is resistance right here, resistance right here, resistance, 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 resistance. So yeah. Okay. $8.70.
Yeah. And then a 10 short at $10. But that's a 10-day. That's a 1-day call. I'm currently just trying to see what you think the, I guess, price action will, not telling the future or anything, but
yeah, if we hit that 870, we'll probably come down and retest this EMA and this support here. So is the take profit somewhere right around $7.98, right around $8, or right around $8.09?
Yeah. Hold on. It's
because that's where I'm seeing support. So I don't know what it's calling for the take profit point. But I would figure the take profit point is on this support and retesting this EMA. So probably here $8.09 or something.
Yeah, it's at $8.10 for TP1.
Makes sense, right? Because you got the top and you've got this price action with these bars here. You have this EMA pulling up, so it'll come down here, retest, and then probably move up toward that $10 and this resistance. Because it's saying if we break this local top, we're probably going to hit that $10 and then make some type of retrace, probably back to these levels, probably back to that $8.70 level.
Yeah,
for the take profit on that one.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah. For the TP1, for the $8.70 call, it was a
$8.10. What was the $10 short? What's the TP? Probably
for
down
that
here
one day,
$8.80
$8.04,
$8.04. Okay,
40
so
40
it's
cents.
coming
Yeah.
all the way back down to these levels again, right? Because you see a lot of price action here, 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 all through here. A lot of price action. So it's calling to find support on that price action level, essentially.
Yeah, because there was a 4-hour that got triggered today, and then another 4-hour that got a 4-hour and a 1 day that got triggered yesterday, and then a higher short 4-hour got triggered today. And then I was like, dude.
Well, I mean, what I like to do is like, you know, if you're entering a Thor long call right on, or say a short call, if you're entering a short call right on support, man, it might keep pumping. If you're pumped away from the EMAs and really stretching and you're hitting that long call, yeah, there's a good chance it's going to pull back. So when there's long calls that are stacked up together, you can do two things. One, use a little bit of TA to see where do you think you're getting the resistance and entering that short call, or open up a short at $8.70. Add a little bit more in at $9.50. Add a little bit more in at $10. DCA into those shorts. I'm not saying these ones specifically. I'm speaking hypothetically.
Yeah. No.
If you have a bunch of calls stacked up, maybe instead of setting a stop loss, you just enter the first one with just a little bit and plan to enter the higher one with more. So if it never gets to that second one, at least you've got a little bit in the first one. But if it does, you're DCAing in the second one and bringing down your entry point, right?
Yeah, one thing I'm trying to get more comfortable with is when like there are a bunch of stacked like short or long calls, and I personally avoid them and try to just go for the ones that Thor calls out for, like that has like one, maybe two, that's like significantly
I personally think that's the best way to do it too, because
too much volatility for me.
well, when things chop sideways, it's very easy to get false signals, and that's when they go on liquidation hunts, right? And they're throwing these wicks up and then going down just to go up, to go down, and not really moving anywhere, right? That can get you, that can eat you up, getting caught in that chop. So like you said, wait until you start moving and break out in a direction and you've got that strong Thor call. Yeah. And that's kind of what, when I do make like a Thor call of the week or whatever the fuck I'm going to do, whatever I call it, you know what I'm talking about, whatever I do, I'm going to try to break down, this is my Thor call of the week because I've got, strong momentum moving into it, or because it is getting close and this is the biggest profit call of the week I see, or I don't know, it's going to vary week to week what my call to watch, Thor call to watch is going to be. But those are things I look for too, like you were saying, like a strong movement into a single call, not moving up slowly and kind of finding and gaining and losing support and inching sideways through tightly stacked calls.
Yeah, I'm not John Wick with that type of movement. Not yet, anyway. So I try to stick with the easy calls, if you want to consider them that.
Well, and that's what I do when you get up to, you know, when you get up to whale status, and can open up Thor Pro, the options on how you can set this up and how you can view it is just so immense.
So with Thor Pro, I didn't in the past really realize those deltas. Like I found myself just manually scaling like the price ranges, and I'm like, yo, Thor Pro really makes that shit so much more easy. Like it's
Right. Yeah, you can break everything down. You can say, like, you know, I'm not interested in a call that's going to grant me 1%, right? Like, I only want calls that are going to give me 5+%. You know, I don't want to go long or short. I'm looking to invest into things and take profit. You know, simple spot trading. Okay, I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn off the 15-minute and the 1 hour. And okay, so what I'm looking at now are what calls can I buy that are long that are going to give me 5% or more. Let's say, you know, for some reason I don't like H bar. Okay, get rid of that. You know, you don't like Litecoin. Okay, get rid of that. You never heard of NII or OP. Okay, get rid of that. You're not interested in Sand or SHIB or Rune. Get rid of them. Okay, now you're left with just what you want to see. What calls in these coins are going to give me at least 5% going long? And these will help you weed out some of those choppy ones too by getting rid of these 2% and 3% calls and only looking at the ones that are grant you 5% plus. And that's 5% plus to TP1, right? So Thor Pro is powerful as fuck when you really want to view the market how you want to view it. What I'll often do a lot of times is set it up like this, turn all the symbols off and turn them on one at a time. Okay, I've got some ADA calls that are 5%. And now I can look. What's ADA at? ADA is at about 62 cents. So the closest call is at 65 and 55. Okay, man, that's pretty close. Now I can go to the chart on ADA and see, are we in an uptrend? Are we pumping to where it looks like this 62 is going to make it to this 64 to 65? Okay, then this is a call I'm going to look to take, right? Algo. You know, now I can see what's here for Algo and say, man, these calls are nowhere even close to triggering. We're in the middle of the zone, nowhere near them. Okay, next. You see what I'm saying? And you can really break down and figure out what calls you want. And there's always more calls to take. So you don't have to take calls that are kind of outside your comfort or your parameter. And then again, just go to risk management, click right on it. I only want to risk $10 on this trade. I will not lose more than $10 on this trade. Okay, I'm going to buy 46 Arbitrum at $1.38. I'm going to sell 46 Arbitrum at $1.67. And I'm going to set my stop loss at $1.17. If I hit stop loss, I'm losing $10, or I'm going to that 18.7% profit at TP1, right? All right, so like I said, Sol, we're going to go to Sol now. Look at where we're at, and then I'm closing this bitch up. So what we've got is we've got 3 long calls, or I'm sorry, 3 short calls if Solana decides to pump. If Solana decides to break out from the downtrend, find support and pump, we do have 3 Thor short zones that we can look to take profit on any longs, or we can look to enter short and know where our profit point is going to be. Same turn, we triggered this call and hit the take profit 1, 2, and 3 on this call that we talked about last week. And if we do hold resistance here and Solana does drop, we have a long call here to take profit at and enter long with the take profit point. If we do then find resistance again, we have our second entry point down here in the $85 to $86 range. And that's a big pump. That's a good take profit. If this one triggers, that's a good take profit point of 13, almost 14% on this one. So keep an eye out. Right now, we are kind of dancing on the line. Yes, we did break the downtrend, but we didn't really blow through it. We just kind of peeked through it. Yes, we could be finding support here on the short-term EMA. We could be finding support here on the RSI, but ultimately we did get the break, right? The break of our uptrend. We did get the break. We did get the lower high, lower low, lower high. Could be that indicator of that lower low and looking to fill out this Thor long call. So if you were to ask me right now, we're kind of almost right in between. What do we got? We've got a 10% dump down to this Thor long call, and we've got an 11% pump up to this Thor short. We're kind of riding right on the zone. That's kind of why we're sitting right here at neutral on the RSI. Look for some confirmation. And if you're questionable, you don't understand what the hell confirmation is, and you're questionable on what it is I'm talking about, then just look to Thor, right? You don't need to short to take profit and go long. You could just wait until we enter the Thor call, go long and take profit, right? You don't have to buy on the retest to take profit at the short. You could just wait until we hit this short entry zone, ride it down to the profit point. So, yeah, 2 hours, been fun. But as I said, this is the last Tuesday Trader, because we're just rebranding, going with a new name, amping things up. Want to just do shit a little bit different. And since it's not just going to be Tuesdays anymore, we decided to just switch it up a little bit. Have some fun with it, right? If you ain't having fun, you're fucking doing it wrong, right? And that goes with about everything in life. If you're not enjoying it or having fun, you're doing it wrong, or you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. And I'm having fun with the Tuesday Trader review, but we're amping it up. We're changing it up. I'm still going to have fun trading here with you guys, and we're just going to do it a little bit differently. But, yeah, we're going to close it up here. I appreciate everybody joining. And starting next week will be the first Tuesday of the month. First Tuesday of the month will still be a Thor 101. And then, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I should do a Thor 101 for that Thursday too. I don't know. I'm still figuring this shit out. No, I don't want to steal Andy's line. I can't say trust me. I'll just say it'll all be good, all right? Chill the fuck out. That's my version of trust me, bro. It'll all be good. Chill the fuck out. So that's how it's presented.
Oh yeah. I'm chill.
Thanks, Mort. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you
man.
guys for sure.
I will say you emotionally like ripped my heart out when I saw that on Twitter. So fuck you, but I still love you.
Oh yeah, you were about to get the most hate mail you've ever been received in your life. I hope you know
Yes.
that.
I have
Yes.
to
Your
give
inbox
Andy
was
a
about
heads
to get
up.
filled with the
Andy
worst.
and I just had a talk and had a talk about, he's like, dude, I really like you to bring in another day, try to tap another time zone. Like the people are demanding it. And, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I gave him a heads up because I'm like, he's going to see my tweet of this is last Tuesday train and be like, what the fuck? I just talked to him. I thought everything was good, bro. Like,
Biggest
I
psyop.
thought about fucking with literally everyone, including Andy. And then I decided, like, let's at least.
You should have just followed it up with "Trust me, bro."
No. I can't take my own medicine. Come on now.
You'll see, bro. Just chill.
Just chill,
you're
man.
just gonna have to wait, man. If I ever steered you wrong,
Just chill, bro. Just chill, bro. Trust me, bro. Just chill.
I like it.
All right, I
Trust
see.
me, bros.
Buddy, go ahead, Andy.
I'll just a little alpha. Trust me, bros. Have something coming soon. Peace. And Mode, thank you so much, man. You do a
shit.
service for our community, bro. And like I know everybody in here realizes it too. So thank y'all very much for coming. And Mode, thank you very much for putting these on, man. I'm excited to have them 2 times a week.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, and I
Clark's
do
in the chat for Mode right now. Blow him up.
I do appreciate all the DMs and everything I get of, I'm glad that these streams have helped you guys find confidence in trading, and the DMs I get and the, screenshots and everything lets me know that it's doing just that. So it's fucking awesome. I'm glad to be here doing it. And we're gonna continue. We're just gonna, like everything with frogs. Like, you think this is it? Huh? No, we're fucking turning it up still, right? Everything is constant evolution, bro. Constant
and
evolution.
I'm glad I got your confirmation on just letting shit play out. And not feel so moved to jump and hop into a play that you've already set a plan for, because the shit's just it's moving out as Thor was planning, and I would have screwed myself had I not had that head knock.
Right, because if you don't plan your trade and then let your trade play out to plan, you'll be like, oh shit, I was in alone, but it looks like it's resistance. I should be going short here, just from a couple candles maybe. And then you go short only to say, oh shit, no, I should be open. It is going long. And all you're doing is getting caught up in the emotion and getting your bags chopped at. And remember, you may say break even with your trade getting in and out, but every time you push that button, you're paying fees, right? So you may say, oh, well, I took a zero loss sum here. Well, maybe you paid $3 or $4 fees on each end of that trade. So what you're thinking, oh yeah, I just keep making trades that are zero and I'm breaking even, you're actually losing $6 each time. And next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute, what the hell happened? So yeah, man, plan your trade your plan. Don't let the emotions get you chopped up of chasing stop loss and re-entering, and and I say this because I've made that same mistake numerous of fucking times and still occasionally do. So
yeah, man, and the calls, Thor's playing it like a flute right now, so Just trust the process.
Trust the process.
Also, got to shout out the homie Bloom. I see him. Hope you're doing well, homie.
Yeah. Bloom, good to have you in here. Bloom has recently started trading Rumpty and I, Solutions, before Solutions came over here with Andy and Cyberfrogs. We had actually been doing a little bit with Bloomverse. If you are into any metaverse type shit, I say shit with all due respect. I don't mean like shit. Like I love Bloomverse. Like
The
I actually
good
hold
shit.
some of the NFT too. But what they are cooking over there with the game is pretty all. You can play a game to win Gecko, play games to win Bonk. There's tournaments coming up. Lots of cool shit. I highly encourage you to go check out the Bloom Discord and Twitter if you don't know about it. And we'll get you up here to talk a little about it one evening, one morning, dude. Because it is something that I actually see a future potential where frogs could work in well, and always have in both the marketplace. When I say the marketplace he's creating, it's like a fucking mall marketplace, not like like Magic Eden marketplace. No, I'm talking like a game build, walk around lobby marketplace with 3D interoperable
Digitally express
objects and
yourself.
shit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is separate
So-
from that Big Brain League
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah, that's separate.
Okay.
Yeah. Bloomverse is
It's
dope.
Bloomverse.
I encourage you to check them out. All right, y'all. I'm wrapping up. I'm closing up. It's been fun as
Appreciate
always.
you, Mode.
Appreciate
Always.
No
everybody.
doubt, homie.
Appreciate you.
Thanks again.
Thanks, man.
Frogs
Thanks, all
fuck,
our kind
boy.
words. See you later.
And
Yes,
remember, next week is the first Tuesday, so it is a Tuesday Trader 101. If you are new and interested into the 101, awesome. If it's not your thing, I get it. But if you have friends that are maybe, dancing on the edge of trading or dancing on the edge of frogs and what this is all about, I highly suggest you get them to start with this one, as I think it will be the most beneficial for their time right from the start. So,
Frogs fuck.
with that, frogs fuck.
Frogs fuck, boy.